percentage of s is equal to k into s plus 1 divided by s square plus s plus 10 here. Right. Now, what is this first step we need to do? We need to find out, we need to locate the poles and zeros.
Sir,
That is,
question, sir, please, sir.
yeah, k into s plus 1 divided by s square plus s plus 10. S square into s plus 10.
Yes, sir.
Right. Step 1 is to locate the poles and zeros here. Locate poles and zeros. Right. Now, to locate poles and zeros, what we need to do? First, we shall locate the poles. Right. Here, to locate the poles, we need to consider the denominator, equate this to 0 and find out the roots of poles here. Right. So, when I equate the denominator to 0, what will be happen? So, we have in the denominator, we have s square into s plus 10. So, when I equate this to 0, what happens? The roots of s will be s is equals to 0 comma 0. Why? Because we have s square. So there will be two roots at origin, right? That is 0 comma 0 here. And then next one is s is equals to minus 10. These are the three roots on the poles. So p is equals to 3 here. So p is equals to 3 here. Similarly for zeros, to do for zeros, we need to equate the numerator to 0 and find out the roots of s. So in the numerator, we have s plus 1. Only one term is there, s plus 1. So what we need to do? S plus 1 should be equated to 0 here. So when I equate this to 0, s is equals to minus 1. So z is equals to z is equals to 1 here, right? Z is equals to 1. So number of poles are 3, number of zeros are 1 here, and roots of poles will be 0 comma 0 and minus 10. We have one more is roots of zeros are minus 1 here. So we shall locate this and the S plane first, right? Now in the S plane, what I have considered? See here, the highest value here is 10, minus 10.
Sir,
So yeah,
sir, s is equal to 0, comma 0. Both are the same roots now, sir. Why
yes,
didn't we take it as two roots only, sir, totally?
yeah, why we need to take only one, why we need to take two routes, why can't we take one route? Yes, this is a good question, because in the S plane, when we are doing the routes array and all, how we were considering when we have the roots repeating and lying on the imaginary axis. That means the root are what we call that is unstable, right? The system was unstable,
Yes, sir.
repeating
Yes,
and
sir.
lying on the S plane. So these are repeating roots. We need to consider two roots only here, because
Okay.
at this point only, that means at the poles the roots are originating, right? The roots are starting point are from the poles. That means the two roots will be starting from the same point, right? So we need to consider two roots only here, right? Two poles here, that is 0 comma 0. So here highest term is minus 10. So with respect to that, you need to take the scale for plotting the S plane here, right? Highest is minus 10. So what I have done, I have taken scale as x-axis is equals to 1 centimeter is 1 unit, and in y-axis 1 centimeter is 1 unit. This is what I have taken, right? Coming on to the poles, we have 0 comma 0, 0 and minus 10 here, right? Here two poles are there. This is one pole and another pole. I'll write it like this only. Two poles here. So s is equals to 0 one pole and s is equals to 0 another pole, and we have minus 10 is another pole. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. This is the 10th pole. Sorry, this is the another pole. S is equals to minus 10 here, right? These are the poles. And coming on to zeros, we have 0 at s is equals to minus 1. S is equals to minus 1. This is 1 0 here, right? So I'll take this is equal, this is s is equals to minus 1. This is 1 0. So 0 I need to locate
Zero,
it with,
zero, sir.
right? I need to locate it with a circle here, small circle here, right? That is s is equals to minus 1, right? What is next step? Next step is to determine the number of branches and its direction. Step 2 is to determine the number of branches and its direction. Right. Number of branches is what? Number of branches, it would be P or Z. Sorry, P or Z, whichever is greater, right? That is, here P is greater than the water pump. Sorry. What we have here, P is greater than Z here. So I can take, sorry guys. Here P is greater than Z. So I can take P as number of poles N. That is equals to 3 here. Right? 3 is greater than 1. So I can take number of branches, that is 3 here. Right. Now, and its direction we need to find out. In its direction here, direction is the starting point will be the poles. Starting point will be the poles, that is 0, 0 and minus 10. These are the starting point, and terminating points will be the zeros here. Right, here 0 we have at s is equals to, sorry, s is equals to 1 here, minus 1 here, that is one terminating point, right? S is equals to minus 1 and infinity here, right? These are the terminating points here, right? Now, number of branches terminating to infinity will be what? Right, number of branches terminating to
2, sir.
infinity, that is 2, that is P minus Z will be the number of branches terminating to infinity here. So this becomes 2. Right, number of branches terminating to infinity is 2. So I can take, I need to take 2 infinities and 1, that is 0 here, that is minus 1. Right. Now what is step 3? Step 3 is to determine the asymptote and asymptote angle. Asymptotes and its angle. Right. Asymptote is Q. Q is what? Q is nothing but P minus Z here. That is 3 minus 1 equals 2. That is Q is equals to 2. So I can write Q is equals to 0 and 1. Right. These are the asymptotes here. And we need to find out the asymptote angle. Asymptote angle we used to write as phi here. Phi A is the asymptote angle. It is given by 2Q. Okay. Yeah, asymptote angle was given by 2Q plus 1, 2Q plus 1 into 180 divided by P minus Z into 180 divided by P minus Z here. Right. So I'll write this one as 2Q plus 1 into 180 divided by P minus Z is 3 minus 1, that is 2. So I can now the asymptote angle, when you substitute Q is equals to 0, what happens? When you substitute Q is equals to 0, 180 divided by 2. 180 divided by 2, it becomes 90 degree, one asymptote angle, that is phi A1. Phi A1 is 90 degree and phi
270
A2
degrees, sir.
is equals to 270 degree here. These are the asymptote angle here, right? We for this, what we need to locate? We need to locate the centroid. Then only we can plot that in the S plane, right? That is step 4. Step 4 is to determine the centroid. Right. We need to determine the centroid. To determine centroid, we have the formula, that is zeta is equals to summation of real parts of poles minus summation of real parts of zeros divided by number of poles minus number of zeros here. Right. Now the summation of real parts of pole are these things. That is 0, 0 and minus 10. These are the summation of real parts of pole. 0 plus 0 minus 10 here. These are the summation of real parts of pole. Minus of summation of real parts of 0. Real parts of 0 is what? We have minus 1. That is the real parts of 0 divided by number of poles are 3 and number of zeros are 1. So this becomes 10 uh, minus 10 plus 1 divided by 2.
5.5, sir.
That is how much?
Minus
4.5.
5.5. Sir,
4.5. It is
9,
9
yes, sir,
divided by
sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
it is
4.5.
4.5. Zeta is equals to minus 4.5. Right. Now we shall locate this in the S plane, minus 4.5. Yeah, minus 4.5 is 1, 2, 3, 4.5 here. Right. This is zeta here. Zeta is equals to minus 4.5. Right. We got zeta value, and then what we need to do? We need to plot the angles of asymptote here. Angle of asymptote is one is 90 degree,
90,
another one is 270 degree.
270.
Right. This angle of asymptote, what I can do? I need to draw a straight line here. Right. I need to draw a straight line here. This is the angle of asymptote here. Sorry. This is 90 degree. Yeah. This is 90 degree one, and another one is 270 degree. Copy this. Right, we got two, that is 270 and 90 degree here. Yeah, this is not good. We'll draw a line straight like this. Okay, we got two, that is 90 degree and 270 degree. Right. Now after this, what we need to do? We need to determine the segment of determine the segment on real axis which which belongs to the root locus. Segment on real axis which belongs to the root locus we need to determine. That is step 5. Don't know what happened. It's not working properly. Right. Step 5 is to determine the segment on real axis. Segment on real axis here. Right. To determine the segment on real axis, what we need to consider? We need to see the two roots here. First, here what we have here in this, we have two roots on 0. That is s is equals to 0. So first we need to find out this here. That means one, that is 0.0 number of zeros in 0.09999 like that, and one is 1.00001 like that. That means there will be two roots like this. That means it is on the same point only. So what we need to consider? We need to consider in between these two whether the root locus exists or not. Yeah, that is what we need to find out here. Right. So first in between 0 and 0. It is in between 0 and 0. Does the root locus exist or not? We need to find out here. Right. So towards, when I see here, this is what I told. It is 0.99999 like that, and 1.00001 like that. Right. So towards the right of this 1.000, many zeros into 1 like this, that is, it is equal to 1 only here. Sorry, this is 0.00001, and it is like what we can take, it is minus 1.00001 like this. Sorry,
Minus 0 points, sir.
Yeah, minus 0.0001 and 0.0001 like this. Right. This is what we need to consider here. Right. So when I take towards the right of this, that is towards right of 0.0001, that means how many poles plus zeros are there? There are one pole is there. So I can, so this is odd, right? This is odd here. Hence the root locus exists. This is what we need to consider. We'll be dividing this into two halves. We'll be dividing this 0, where the s is equals to 0, we have two roots. That is, one is at minus 0.0001 and plus 0.0001, like this. So we can consider this as 0 only. So towards the right of this, we have one pole. So this is odd. Hence the root locus exists here. Hence the root locus exists here. Next, coming in between these two, that is 0 and minus 1. 0 and minus 1. In between these two, it is 0 and minus 1. Right. See here, when I consider this one towards the right of this, what we have two poles, that is s is equals to 0 and s is equals to 0. There are two poles, hence we can state this s is equals to two poles, that is, what happened? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Here, what we have, s is equals to 0 and s is equals to 0. There are two poles here, right? So I can state poles plus zeros, we have 2. So it is even. So root locus does not exist here. Doesn't exist. Right. Next, coming in between, I think the internet is slow today. Yeah, coming in between minus 1 and minus 10. Minus 1 and minus 10. In between these two, we need to find out. That is minus 1 and minus 10 here. So poles plus 0 here. So see here, towards right of minus 10, we shall count. That is minus 1 is the 0. 0 and 0 are zeros, poles here. Right. So pole here is 2 and 0 here is 1. This is 3. So it is odd. This is 3, this is odd. So root locus exists. Root locus exists here. Right. So what we got? In between these two, that is s is equals to 0 and s is equals to 0, the root locus exists, and in between s is equals to minus 10 and s is equals to minus 1, in between these two, the root locus exists here. So if I draw the root locus, I shall take green color. So see here, in this, the root locus is present. Right? We got the root locus here, sorry. Here in between these two, the root locus is present. Right, like this, it might be in this direction or in another direction. So we shall not plot that one now only. Right, and we in between here we have the root locus here. Here the root locus is starting. Both the point the root locus is starting, and here the root locus is started and it is coming like this. Right. This is what the root locus plot is. Now, what is next step? We need to determine the breakaway and break in point. We need to determine the breakaway and break in point. Right. That is step number 6 here. We shall go with the step 6. Step 6 is to determine.
Sir, we won't be doing the segment from minus 10 to minus infinity, sir.
No, we have here only, na. If you take that one, we shall do that one also. In between minus 10 and minus infinity here. We shall do that one. See here towards left of this, towards right of minus infinity. How many poles plus zeros are there? We need to count here. That means towards right of minus infinity. That is poles is 1, that is s is equals to minus 10, and poles is s is equals to 0, 2, s is equal to 0, 3. There are 3 poles. And zeros, we have 1, 0. That is s is equals to minus 1. Right. So we have here we have 3 poles, that is p plus z. It is 3 poles and 1 0. So how many? It is 4. So this is even. So root locus does not exist. Right. So in between minus infinity and minus 10 and minus infinity, it is odd. Sorry, it is even. So the root locus doesn't exist here. Right. Now there is step 6 is to find out breakaway point and break in point. Breakaway point and break in point. To determine breakaway and break in point, what we need to consider? We need to consider the characteristic equation, which is given by 1 plus g of s into h of s here. 1 plus g of s into h of s here. What is the g of s into h of s we have? That is
K into s plus 1 by s
k
square into
into s plus 1 divided by s square into s plus 10
plus
here.
10.
Right. That is, I think today internet is slow. Yeah. We have 1 plus k into s plus 1 divided by s square into s plus 10, which is equals to 0. This is what we need to consider here. Right. So this one I'll simplify. S square into s plus 10 plus k into s plus 1 is equals to 0. So I'll multiply this s cube plus 10s square plus k into s plus 1 is equals to 0. So I need to write in terms of k. K is equals to minus s cube minus 10s square whole divided by s plus 1. Right. This is k here. So what we need to consider? We need to find out the dk divided by ds. We need to find out dk divided by ds. It should be equated to 0 here. Right. So when I differentiate this one, differentiation that is numerator by denominator, right? So denominator into differentiation of numerator, that is minus 3s square minus 20s minus numerator into differentiation of denominator, that is minus s cube minus 10s square into here s differentiation of s is 1, right, whole divided by denominator square, that is s plus 1 whole square here. This should we have obtained. We have left out with s plus 1 into minus 3s square minus 20s minus of minus becomes plus s cube plus 10s square, which is equals to 0. Multiply this, that is minus 3s cube minus 20s square minus 3s square minus 20s plus s cube plus 10 s square equals 0 here. Now we shall simplify this, minus 2s cube, this one and this one, minus 20s square plus 10s square, that is 10s square minus, sorry, this is, yeah, we have one more, that is minus 3s 23 minus 10, that is 13. This becomes 13s, this becomes 13s, right, minus 20, yes, is equals to 0. So what we have obtained? We have obtained with minus 2s cube minus 13s square minus 20s is equals to 0, or else I can write this one as, I'll take out s common here, that is 2s square plus 13s, 13s not s square, minus 20 plus 20 is equals to 0, right? We obtained with this equation here. What we can do, we need to find out the roots of this equation, that is first root will be s is equals to 0, and find out root of this, that is 2s square plus 13s plus 20. Find out roots of this, find out roots of this, 2s square plus 13s plus 20. Find out roots
So
of this.
minus 2.5 and minus 4, sir.
Yeah, minus 2.5 and minus 4 here, right? So these are the roots where we need to find out the whether we have the valid breakaway or break-in point here, right? So we shall see these three in the S plane. First is S is equals to 0. See here, S is equals to 0. We have a break is equals to 0 and S is equals to 0. So this is a valid break away point. Why I have taken this as a valid breakaway point? Why have I taken this as a valid breakaway point? Because this point S is equals to 0 is existing in between two poles, is existing in between two poles. So this is a breakaway point. Poles are there here. Two poles are there here. This is S is equals to 0 and S is equals to 0. So this is a breakaway point here. Right. Next one is S is equals to minus 2.5. We shall check that in the S plane here. See here, minus 2.5, it is 1, 2, 2.5 is here. Right. 2.5 is here. Right. So what is this? What is this? This is also a valid break away or break in point. Which one?
So that is breakaway point only, sir.
Why you need to take it as a break away point? See here what we have. We have S is
It's
equals,
lying between the.
see here we have 0 here, right? Towards right of this we have 0, and one more is what? One more is what? One more is S is equals
Minus
to
4 point, minus 4, sir.
minus 4. Minus 4 is here. I don't know what happened to it. Slow. Yeah. Here S is equals to 4 here, right? This is one more point. S is equals to minus 4 and S is equals to minus 2.5 here, right? So see here when one root is coming here like this, one root is coming here like this. So this becomes towards right. What we have? We have a pole. Sorry, we have a 0 here. So towards right, if we have 0, and towards left, we have one more breakaway or break-in point. We don't know that one. So towards right, we don't have any pole here. Only we have 0. So this will be a valid break-in point. This will be a valid break-in point. Why I'm taking this as a valid break-in point? Because towards right, we have only one pole here. We don't have either a breakaway or break-in point or a 0 there. Sorry, we don't have any pole or breakaway or break-in point. Only we have 0. So when we have 0 towards that, if we find breakaway or break-in point, that will be a valid break-in point. Again I'm repeating. See here, towards right or left, we need to consider any one. Towards right or left, if we don't have any breakaway or break-in point, and if we don't have any pole, if we have only 0 towards right or left, any one side, that means that becomes a valid break-in point. That becomes a valid break-in point, right? If we have here a pole, if we have a pole here, this becomes a breakaway point. In place of S is equals to minus 1, if we have a pole, that means this becomes a breakaway point. But here we have a 0 here, so this becomes a break-in point, and this becomes a break-in point. Now coming on to this, S is equals to minus 4. S is equals to minus 4. See, towards right, you have a breakaway or break-in point. We don't know either it is a breakaway or break-in point, right? So check towards left. Towards left, what we have? We have only pole, right? We have only pole here. So when we have only pole here, that becomes a breakaway point. If we have a pole towards right or left, that becomes a breakaway point. If we have 0 towards right or left, that becomes a break-in point. And this is what you need to remember here, right? Towards left, we have a pole, so this becomes a breakaway point. Towards right of this, where S is equals to minus 2.5, we have 0 here, 0 towards right, so this becomes a break-in point. Here we have pole towards left, this becomes a breakaway point. This you need to remember here, right? And if the breakaway or break-in point existing in between poles, that becomes a breakaway point. If the root lies in between two zeros, that becomes a break-in point. That becomes a break-in point here, right? So we got this as a break-in point and this as break-away point, right? So what is next step? Next step, now these three are a valid breakaway and break-in point. These three are valid breakaway and break-in point. Right? These three are valid breakaway and break-in point. Next, we shall go with further. That is step 7. In step 7 is to determine intersection point on the imaginary axis. Right? To find out intersection point on imaginary axis. Imaginary axis here, right? Intersection point on the imaginary axis. For that, what we need to consider? We need to consider the characteristic equation. So I'll consider this as the characteristic equation. So I'll write this one as here we have negative, so I'll completely convert that into positive here. So what I'll get, it is 2s cube plus 13s square 0. For this, what we need to do? We need to find out the Routh's array. Routh's array. Right. So first is s cube, s square, and so sorry, not this equation.
We wrote a k. Yes, sir. We have to get k.
Not this equation. We need to consider this equation here. Right. This is what we need to consider here. That is s cube plus 10s square plus k into s plus 1. We need to consider this equation. So this I'll simplify here. S cube plus 10s square 10s square plus k into s plus k is equals to 0. This will be our new characteristic equation here, right? This will be our new characteristic equation. We shall consider that, not this equation. That is s cube plus 10s square plus ks plus k. S cube plus 10s square plus ks plus k is equals to 0. This will be the characteristic equation. S cube, s square, s raised to 1 and s naught. The coefficient of s cube here is 1, s square is 10 and s is k, and here constant term is k here. Right? Now we shall find out s raised to 1 here. For this, what we need to do? Multiply these two and multiply these two divided by 10. So this becomes 10 into k.
11k by 10, sir. Sorry, 9k by 10, sir.
Divided by 10. And this becomes 9k divided by 10 here. Right? Is this correct? Just check out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. 9k divided by 10 here. And this, what will be this term?
0.
K into 0. This will be 0 here. Right. So this term will be k only. Right. This term will be k only here. Right. So which term I need to consider complete 0? Which term I need to make complete 0 here?
S1, sir.
This term should be complete 0 here. Right. So to make that term complete 0, the value of 9k divided by 10 should be equated to 0. So the value of k will be what? K is equals to 0 here. Value of k will be 0. This is what? This is k marginal. Value is 0. K marginal value is 0. Now above that term, I need to consider that as a auxiliary equation AS. Right. So the auxiliary equation AS is what? 10 s square
10s square plus ks
plus k is equals to 0. Right, 10s square plus ks is equals to 0. Yes, and one more question. Yesterday, one student has asked me, see, sir, you are taking 10s square plus k is equals to 0. Why you are not taking s here? right? So what I'm writing here, see here, this is the coefficient of what? This is the coefficient of s cube, right? This is the coefficient of s raised to 1. That is, this is even odd here, odd power here. Now this is odd power here. Similarly, this is even power here. Right? This is the even power row and this is odd power row here. Right? So you need to consider the same thing here. Right? When we are taking auxiliary equation, if there is an odd even power, so you need to consider only the even powers here. That is s raised to 2 and s raised to 0 here. Right? S raised to 0 is 1. So I'll be not considering that complete. So I'll be considering only the coefficient, that is k here. Right? Similarly, if you are considering for s raised to 6, so one term will be what? This is s raised to 6 plus some coefficient into, I'll take x into s raised to 4 plus y into s square plus z is equals to 0. This is what you need to consider here. Yesterday, one of the students has asked me why you are considering only the odd powers and even powers. This is the thing what you need to consider when you are considering the auxiliary equation. Right? If you are considering this as the auxiliary equation, you need to consider only the even powers. Only the even powers. You are not considering the odd powers here. Right? Now, after of this one, right? So 10 s square, here k marginal is 0 is equals to 0. The value of s square is what? S square when k is equals to 0, this becomes 0. The root of this is what? S is equals to 0 here, right? S is equals to 0 we have got, right? This doesn't lie on the imaginary axis here. S is equals to 0 is not lying on the imaginary axis, so it doesn't crosses the imaginary axis here. It doesn't crosses the imaginary axis, and because k value of k is also 0 and s is equals to 0, so this doesn't crosses the imaginary axis here. Right? Now coming on to the graph, we have marked the breakaway point, break in point and everything, but we have not plotted the graph. So we should plot now. What we have told, this is a starting point here, that is s is equals to minus 10 is a starting point. It is coming like this. We got to know the root locus exists in between these two, that is s is equals to minus 10 and minus 1. Here the root locus is starting. Yes, it is correct. Now here what we have, here we have a breakaway point here. Here we have a breakaway point here like this, right? And the root is coming here, sorry, root is coming here in this direction, and we have a breakaway point, and here we have a break in point. Here we have a break in point here, right? And we have a breakaway point here like this. So what happens? One root will start here like this and merges with the break in point. Another root starts here and merges with the break in point here, right? This is one plot here. This is one plot here, and one root will follow and terminates at s is equals to minus 1. Another root will start and it move towards left, and we have a breakaway point like this. So this will be the breakaway point, and we have the asymptote angle and at 90 degree. So this passes through this asymptote angle here, parallel to the asymptote angle. Another root passes below like this through the asymptote angle here, that is 250 degree, 270 degree here. Right? This is terminating to infinity, and this root will terminate to infinity here. And phi of a1 is equals to 90 degree, and phi of a2 is equals to 270 degree. This is the root locus plot here, right? So what you need to consider, you need to consider here two breakaway and one breakaway and break in point here, right? Here how many we have three breakaway and break in point, that is s is equals to 0 and s is equals to minus 2.5 and s is equals to 4. These are the three breakaway and break in point. So you need to state that one correctly here, right? Because s is equals to 0 is a valid breakaway point. So the root will be starting at s is one root for this will be starting at s is equals to 0 and it will comes and merges in the real axis at s is equals to minus 2.5. 2.5, and another root will be starting from s is equals to 0 and comes in the below line and merges at s is equals to minus 2.5 in the real axis, and one root will come here and terminates at s is equals to minus 1, that is at 0, and another root will be going towards the left, and it is finding out one more breakaway point at s is equals to 4. It is finding out one more breakaway point, that is s is equals to 4 here, and another root is coming from s is equals to minus 10. It is finding the breakaway point at s is equals to 4. So we have a breakaway point here. One root will be going through the asymptote angle at 90 degree. Another root is coming on the asymptote angle at 270 degree and terminates at infinity here. Right? This is what you need to draw. I've seen student taking only s is equals to 0, one root. For this, I've seen student taking only 0 and minus 10. When I have asked in the last internal elements last year, the students have taken only s is equals to 0 and s is equals to minus 10. This is wrong. You need to take three roots, that is s is equals to 0, 0 and minus 10. You need to consider this one here. And next problem means this one, what you are doing here is you are taking, you are not considering this as two roots here. If you consider only one root, so what happens, this here in between s is equals to 0 and s is equals to minus 1, you will be finding out the root locus existing. Right? We'll be finding out the root locus existing in between s is equals to minus 1 and s is equals to 0. This again, it's a wrong thing. And in between s is equals to minus 1 and s is equals to minus 10, you will not find a root locus here. Right? When you take only one term, that is s is equals to 0, how we will get, I'll be drawing that one in the S pen. I'll write here. Here we have like this. So what you will consider? You consider only one pole, that is s is equals to 0 here, and you will be having one more 0, that is s is equals to s is equals to minus 1. S is equals to minus 1, and you will be finding out here s is equals to minus 10. You'll write like this, right? What you will find out? You will find out here in between these two, the root locus exists. You will write like this. The root locus exists. You will be writing like this. This is a wrong thing, right? And one more root, you will be writing like this. This is a wrong thing, right? These two are wrong. Here the root locus does not exist because you are not considered another term, that is s is equals to 0. Due to one small mistake, the complete term will be wrong. And whatever you will be finding out the break in and breakaway point, you will not consider these two. And asymptote here it will be there. You will not consider these three things here. Right? When you write like this, the root should pass through the asymptote angle here. It should pass along the asymptote line. But you will not find the asymptote line crossing the means the root locus, it is not following the asymptote angle here, because asymptote angle is 270 and here one more like this. But here for your thing, this is not following the asymptote angle only here. That means this is completely wrong. Right? So you need to consider two zeros here. Right? You need to consider two zeros. And one more mistake, what I have found out, if you have done this two zeros also, here you will be not considering the breakaway point. Here the students are not taking this as a breakaway point here. They are considered only 2 points, that is here one and here one. Right? That is s is equals to minus 2.5 and s is equals to minus 4. Only these two, they are considering this as a breakaway point and break-in point. So what they do, they have one root, it is coming like this. They'll write here, it is the breakaway point, and they will stuck here because they know this is a breakaway point and they can write like this, but they don't know, and they will write like this completely. They'll be writing like this completely. This again, it's a wrong thing. This they will be taking as a one more pole here. They will be taking this as a one more pole, and some of the students are writing like this. Here one root is going and towards left, one root is going, and towards right, one more root is going. Right? So be careful with this type of question. If you have two poles at origin and two breakaway and break-in point on the real axis, on the same real axis, in between minus 10 and minus 1, you have two breakaway and break-in points. So you need to be cautious while you draw the root locus. right? Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Yeah. For today's class, I request everyone to bring the graph sheets so we can solve one numerical on this, right? And next class, I'll be doing one more difficult problem on the root locus only. So there, in that, what you have, we have the two poles, the two complex conjugate poles, and the root locus is crossing the imaginary axis twice. Right? It is crossing the root locus is crossing the imaginary axis twice. That is one of the difficult thing what you need to see. Right? So that one will be solving in the next class. So I request everyone to attend the last class on root locus. Right? On the next class, I think on Monday we'll be doing that. So I request everyone to attend that class. Don't miss that class. If you can do that problem, I think you can do all other things. Right? So just a minute, I'll send you the attendance in chat.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
For today's class, it will be